Hi everyone, I'm Marcy, and today I'm making a Mexican inspired meatloaf with hatch green chili and cheese. So if you're looking for an easy dinner idea, this is it. It's simple, delicious comfort food that everybody will love. I make meatloaf all the time, and what goes into it just depends on what I have in the refrigerator and pantry. And right now, since it is hatch chili season, guess what I'm using? Hatch green chili. Now this has already been roasted, peeled, and chopped, and I've shared many videos in the past on how to do that. I'll go ahead and put a link to one of those videos for you in case you want to see that. But I'm going with about half a cup, and what this is going to do is just give a fantastic flavor to our meatloaf. In my opinion, hatch green chili just makes everything taste better. But of course, our main ingredient is still the meat, and I've got 1 pound of lean ground beef. And the reason I go with lean beef is because if it has more fat, it'll tend to shrink when it's baking. Now for our binder, I'm going to be using 1 egg and half a cup of oats. Now you can use quick oats, you can use old-fashioned oats, it's all the same. Or if you want, you can use half a cup of breadcrumbs or half a cup of crushed crackers. Just use whatever you have on hand. You'll also need between 1/4 cup and half a cup of diced onion, and then half a cup of the cheese of your choice. Now this is going to sound crazy, but I love blue cheese in mine. Now this is nice and crumbly, and I love to bite into these little pockets of this pungent cheese that is just so incredibly flavorful. But I know not everyone likes blue cheese, and in fact, I just kind of stumbled upon this one day when I was throwing in whatever I had into my meatloaf. So if you want to find something that's more Mexican, you can try cotija cheese, which is also a nice crumbly cheese, but just know that it's not going to melt. You're just going to bite into some soft pockets of cheese, but it's still delicious. Or you can use half a cup of shredded cheddar cheese that also works wonderfully in this recipe. Now you're also going to need 1 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, and then for seasonings, 1 teaspoon red chili powder, half a teaspoon salt, and half a teaspoon garlic powder. So let's go ahead and get started. With meatloaf, you just mix everything together, so grab a large bowl and start putting in the ingredients. That's the ground beef, the chopped green chili, the diced onions, the cheese of your choice, the oats, the egg, the chili powder, the salt, the garlic powder, and about 2/3 of the can of tomato sauce. We're going to reserve the rest for later. Then with very clean hands, or with food handling gloves if you have them, get in there and mix everything together. You don't want to overmix, you just want it to be barely combined. One of the things that I love about meatloaf is that you can mix in just about anything. So if you have leftovers in the refrigerator that you're trying to get rid of, drop them in there and give it a try. And if you don't have anything, one thing that I use quite a bit is those little cans of mixed vegetables. I believe they have potatoes and carrots and green beans. I just drain them and drop the vegetables in there, and it's fantastic. Another one of my go-tos is I love using fresh sage, and I have that growing in my garden, and it is so delicious in meatloaf. But the only reason I'm not using any today is because I don't want it to compete with the hatch green chili. I want the green chili to be the star. Next, lightly grease your baking dish and drop in your meat mixture. I purposely use a larger baking dish than I need so that I have plenty of room to work with while I push it all together and mold it into shape with my hands. It's supposed to resemble a loaf, and I like it to be smooth on all sides. Once the loaf is formed, I take the remaining tomato sauce and pour it over the top of the meatloaf. I spread it evenly over the entire loaf. Then into the oven at 350 degrees it goes. It should bake for about 45 minutes. If you have a thermometer, the internal temperature should reach 160. This meatloaf is all done and the aroma is amazing. Now you do want to let it rest at least 10 minutes before you cut into it because you want the juices to stay locked in. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to transfer it to a board, that way I can slice it and you get a better look at it. Meatloaf is not the most photogenic food, but hopefully putting it on this board will help. I'm gonna go ahead and cut me a slice and we'll see how this tastes. You can see that it is holding together nicely. And on the inside, you have these bits of chili and pieces of the blue cheese, which I can hardly wait to taste. Let's give it a try. That is packed with flavor. I love that the hatch chili shows you that it's there. You definitely taste it. And then of course you've got these little pockets of blue cheese combined with all the seasonings, and it's just wonderful. You know, when it comes to meatloaf, this is one of those foods that you can just experiment with and see what you like. It pretty much goes with anything, and it's just the ultimate comfort food. Thanks so much for checking out this video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already done so. I also invite you to follow me at Marcy Inspired on Instagram and Facebook. Until next time, blessings from my kitchen to yours.